Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Loan Officer Wealth Podcast. If you're looking for results on TikTok, you are in the right place because our guest today, Steve Balgobind, is honestly one of my favorite people to follow on TikTok and who is absolutely crushing it. Steve, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. So on TikTok, your handle is Init Capital Funding, INIT Capital
You got it.
Funding.
Yep.
And well, let's get started. Before we get into the massive following on TikTok and how you're going consumer direct there, can you give us a little bit about your background, your history, just so people understand where you came from and how you got to
Yeah,
be where you are today?
totally. So I'm relatively new to the mortgage game. I've been in this game for 4 years now, and it's been. I mean, listen, the first couple years were just brutal. I mean, I don't know how to say it politely. It was a tough slog, and I think like many, I was thinking like, is this the right fit for me?
Mhm.
Um, there's veterans in this business. There's a lot. The learning curve is spectacular,
Yep.
with so many aspects to the business, from lenders and guidelines, changing dynamics from how we approve clients for their mortgage, and then obviously social media, because before this, me entering the mortgage game, I didn't even have a Facebook account. Like, I was zero on any sort of social media. So my daughter actually is the one who kind of nudged me to say, Dad, you should, if you're a mortgage guy, like, you should just go on social media, like try TikTok or try Instagram. So I started to research it, and TikTok at that time was just, every day you were hearing about TikTok, this is viral, this thing, that. And so I started TikTok only last year.
Wow.
Um, and it was a trial and error kind of thing, right? As I mentioned in our pre-talk, it was my first video was horrendous. It was so contrived and whatever. But if I can tell the listeners and whatnot, I think the biggest thing that people have to do is they just need to get comfortable with their talk, their shoulder presence, their look, everything. It is a comfort. You need to find your thing that you feel comfortable with, and that only really
Mhm.
happens by trial and error. And you'll learn it pretty quick, because you find out what people are listening to, obviously by your view count, by your engagement. Um, and it's funny because, yes, TikTok is a consumer direct platform, and it has transformed my business. I would say every single month there's 4 to 5 solid leads that come from that, and that's not even filtering out the other ones. So it's a phenomenal, for me, myself, and I. It's a phenomenal platform. And now I'm at the point where I need to now expand to a team. Um, and so it's, if anybody's kind of sitting on the fence, listen, it's just get out there. Just get out there. I'm living proof of it. I mean, I was nowhere near. And here's another thing too, actually. I think the biggest thing is you got to pick a poison. So is your poison going to be TikTok? Is it going to be Instagram? Is it going to be Facebook, LinkedIn, whatever that case is? Pick it and just run with it, because
Yep.
you can get some great lead generation from LinkedIn. Facebook obviously is a no-brainer. Instagram is spectacular for mortgage brokers, but what are you most comfortable with, and where's the best bang for buck at this point? And for me, that was TikTok.
Yep. I could not agree more. So everybody's going to want to know the juicy stats. Can you give us a rough breakdown of like how many followers when you do a live, how many people will like tune into the live broadcast, all that good stuff?
Yeah, so um I think so. You mentioned live. You have to, for TikTok, you got to get 1,000 followers to host a live. So once you get your 1,000 followers, if anybody is listening, the live is where the money is at. So yes, there's engagement. I have about 7,000 followers as of today. There's lots of engagement, lots of questions. You get the actual community chit chatting with each other, which is pretty amazing to see. And the people will respond to each other's comments, and it's almost like
Yeah.
I start to step back and just read the comments going back and forth. Um, so that's that. But the money is where the lives are at. Like that's where I get my leads. Um, so typically on any live, there's anywhere between 50, it could be up to 200 people, depending on the day. Um, by trial and error, football nights were never a good night. So I, I would I would not host a live on football nights. But you also start to figure out like what's the best time for your audience. So
Yeah.
I did try 5 o'clock. I tried 3 o'clock. I tried 8 o'clock. And for me, I found that the evening times around that 10 o'clock time where my demographic
Yeah.
were in wind down mode, maybe in front of the TV, and they were, scrolling through, and that would be my sweet spot. Um, and yeah, it took a little time to figure that out, but the engagement that you get from those TikTok lives, Chris, it is beyond spectacular. And I got to tell you, I learn just as much as these guys learn, because it really truly, yes, I am the moderator, and there's people type in their questions and comments. It is, but it's really a two-way street. Like it
Yep.
is so engaging, and the people that do book a call with me afterwards, the first thing that comes out is, Steve, man, love your content, love your lives, like, and this is the best part. Oh my God, you're so smart. I say to my wife, I said, "Do you hear this?" So it's good though. It's really, really good.
That's amazing. And so we'll talk about, being the leader of a tribe and leading through content. But I know I'm gonna get the question, how do you get to 1,000 followers? Because I see people in the mortgage industry, been on social for years, working content as best they can, never get to that 1,000 follower mark.
Mhm.
So what were you doing in the beginning stages to grow that follower count so that you could get to the 1,000 followers, so that you could start going live and starting to engage the community that way?
Yeah, totally. So it again, I go back to saying it is a trial and error type of thing. What is the audience? You have to cater to the audience. You can claim all you want that I'm only going to talk mortgages, but mortgages encompasses so many parts to our economy. It is the
Yep.
interest rate, so inflation, it is real estate, it is your budget, it's your finances. So you need to pick topics that are trending. So I always say, before I post, I'll actually Google search trending news topics. So that's number one. Number two, there's some great forums like Mortgage News, mortgage. There's a couple of mortgage things that come with the hot topics. I'll look at that. Toronto Star, Globe and Mail, all these kind of things, and you see what is trending. And from there, you go about and you find a way to communicate this in an engaging way. I think the biggest suggestion that I can give people is, um, don't just sit in front of a camera and say, okay, inflation is 6.9%, and it dropped in December to 6.4%. You gotta bring the life, because
Yes.
you literally have 2 3 seconds before they scroll. So you're not gonna believe what's happening. Like, oh, you gotta hear what I'm gonna say. Like, you gotta come at them with something just where, oh my God, what the hell is Steve talking? Like, I gotta listen. That's
Yep.
how you engage them first and foremost. And I found that through trial and error, because before, like, I would sometimes record in my car, and when I look at those first few videos, it's you can tell it's contrived. The
Right.
one thing I will say, don't script it, ad lib it.
Okay.
Talk off the
Hmm.
top of your head. We now know the game. We know mortgages. We are smarter than 90% of the people out there. You should be able to talk from your head. If you can talk from your head without looking like you're reading from a script, that was transformative. Because
Hmm.
before, I actually did kind of have a prescribed thing as to what I was going to say. And when I
Yep.
went sort of more casual, that's where it really took off.
Yeah, absolutely. And you mentioned you're doing lives, people are booking calls directly from just that natural organic engagement. And for people that haven't seen it, go onto TikTok, follow me. My name's underscore Chris Johnstone. You can find me there. And in it, capital funding is Steve's handle, INIT capital funding. And when you see him live, tune in and watch. It's very engaging, but it's also very casual, almost like I'm not coming into your office, I'm coming into your home. I've seen a couple of them where you're having a glass of wine, just chit chatting with people, but animated, educated, and really about building the community.
Absolutely.
And just,
You hit the nail on the head. The engaging part is the secret sauce, because I am an introverted guy, but you got to almost break out of your shell and put on this persona, if you will, that heightens your conversational ability to engage people in a conversation.
yep.
That's the big one. Because you essentially, Chris, we are talking to a blank screen. We're waiting for
Yeah.
people to engage, right? It's an odd thing at first, but once you get accustomed to the fact that you're literally just talking to the screen, you see your face. Once that first question comes in, where do you think interest rates are going to go? What do you think of the real estate market? The game goes, the snowball starts to roll.
Yep. Yeah, that's amazing. And so with TikTok, you've grown. So there's all these cheesy Fiverr gigs and all of this stuff where you can create fake engagement. And I cannot speak enough against that
Totally.
because it's a vanity metric. And the only thing that the algorithms care about, it used to be follower count 2 or 3 years ago. And if you had a big follower account, you would post something, you'd get crazy reach. Now it's all about engagement. The algorithms are watching when you put content out, who engages with it, for how long, what's your consistency of engagement. There's all these new metrics that they're using, and you've built a beautiful, natural, organic following. I don't think really any paid media, no shenanigans. And I'm interested in how much of that you think comes from the mortgage market specifically. How much do you think is from the real estate market? And then how much do you think is like trending news and people that are just following you because you're on point and you're talking about relevant topics?
Mm. So if I can say, as a mortgage guy, we are never going to get that traction of 200,000 followers. Those days are, I think, gone. Right?
Thank you for saying that.
We are, it is a mundane topic. We're talking finance. It's not a big thing, right? So our audience automatically is a bit small. So getting the trifecta of real estate, mortgages, and obviously what's happening in finance and the news is really where you have to expand your audience. And so the one thing I will also say is, if I'm to break it down, where the engagement happens, like I actually meet my realtors through TikTok now,
Huh.
because the realtors are following guys like me to get their information. So when you see them follow, you instantly got to follow. And then, like, that's your perfect opportunity to say, hey, Mark, I just saw you click on, you like the stuff. And, you start to casually build a conversation. I checked your stuff out. I love it. Love it. And so I actually invited fellow realtors on the live. So that kind of
Yep.
creates a co-engagement. And that's really worked out well too. So I don't even know what the question was, actually.
The difference between getting engagement on mortgage topics, engagement on real estate topics, and engagement on
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
trending news and
So,
topics.
yeah, the engagement portion of it is you do need to expand outside of just mortgages.
Yep.
Um, that I will say, hands down, you do, because we are in a finance industry. not just mortgages. And it does encompass obviously real estate, which is the much more, you know, flashy, more buzzy. There's much more buzzwords than mortgage, really.
Yeah, 100%. And so in your content and growing, obviously the lives are where you're taking a lot of your audience, you're turning them into actual mortgage applications and conversations. But the content that you're putting out on a regular basis, how do you come up with your content ideas? And then a couple of follow-up questions to that.
Yeah. So as I mentioned, I think the biggest thing is you got to find what's trending. That's what's going to exponentially grow you a little bit. Getting to the 1,000 followers is the absolute hardest thing because TikTok doesn't know you. They're
Right.
not engaged with you. So the more you can find a trending topic, communicated in a sharp, effective way that engages the audience, that's gonna grow you. Especially when you're starting out too, I would say consistency is the key. We've heard this really all day long. Like every time you talk to somebody in social media, the big thing is consistency, and it's so true for TikTok. So if you don't have to post 3 times a day, but just post a day. And
Yep.
I'm now at the point where I don't post every day. I should, but now I'm just so busy with so many other things that it just is. It's a difficult process. I will also say this: it does take time. The actual time that I need to put in to research, record it, edit it, and put it out takes about 2 hours. And so,
Wow.
yeah, I will take that morning. Usually, I'll have my morning coffee. I'll sit down, my phone. Um, I'll watch the news. I'll see what's trending, what's hot, and then I'll make some notes. Then I'll see, what do I find interesting, and then I'll record. And so, usually by about, I like to post at 12 o'clock because 12 o'clock is, I find, a sweet spot for people are on their lunch break. They've
Okay.
got some time to scroll, and that's where you can get a little bit of momentum.
Got it. Okay, that makes total sense. Hashtags and trending music. I hear, there's all the SEO hacks on TikTok. Those are kind of the top two things that people are talking about right now, other than, captions. So how important do you feel that is in the content that you're producing?
Yeah. So I can tell you one example. I actually posted a video by accident. I finished editing it, but I did not add any captions at all. I posted it by accident. I wanted to click draft and I hit post. That went viral. I got like
What?
20,000 views on this thing and engagement out of the wazoo. I got a couple calls. And I had no caption, no hashtags, nothing.
Hmm.
So I really sat back and I said, wow, I'm spending all this time on hashtags. Usually my hashtags are very simple. It's mortgage, it's real estate, it's the topic that I'm talking about. So it's usually 4 to 5, hashtags. Um, and that I thought was working, but then this one like threw a wrench into the whole mix where I didn't have anything and it got like
Huh.
20,000 views. So I don't even know what to say. Like I don't know how TikTok's algorithm is working these days. And so I subsequently tried it with a few where I just put maybe mortgage or real estate, and that was it. Hashtag mortgage, hashtag real estate. And yeah, it just was sort of mediocre. So I don't
Hmm.
know. I don't know. Hashtags are still a question mark in this whole strategy because
Int-
yeah, I've talked to other content creators, um, and they too say that the hashtag thing right now for TikTok is a bit wonky.
That is crazy. So
Yeah.
there you go, folks. You heard it here from the source. You might be hearing different information otherwise, but I can tell you this afternoon, I'm going to try a TikTok with no captions, and I'm going to see what happens with it.
Yeah. I mean, listen, listen, it is a trial and error thing. TikTok is still so new. We still have
Mhm.
like 5, 6 years of like amazing growth on this thing. Like, if you don't jump on the bandwagon now, like the time will be gone. Like now, Instagram is so incredibly hard to grow. You gain a
Yeah.
follower or two or three, and that's it. TikTok's still trending, still hot. You can get up to 1,000 followers really quick.
Yep.
Um, this is the time. This is the time. It's not too late.
Yep, I could not agree more. Now, I'm also, you talked about realtor referral relationships. And again, thank you for being so generous with your time. Are you specifically targeting content to realtors to try and attract them to the platform? And are you taking your TikTok leverage and using that to reach out to realtors and say, hey, I'd love to feature you on my show? Like, are you using it to now leverage the following that you've got to attract other referral partners to you?
Yeah. So, well, great question. And that is the next step for me, because I think when realtors actually like and follow you, that's your in to engage with them. So
Yep.
automatically, you got to kind of keep your phone at bay and keep checking and whatever. So that's one. Engaging the realtor, I don't specifically go out to engage realtors. Realtors are the ones that are actually looking for their content information as well. And so when they
Yep.
come across people like me or any other, finance mortgage guy that's talking real estate and talking finances, they are looking to me for ideas that they will then post or sometimes even stitch.
Yep.
Um, right. So, to answer your question, I'm not actively going out for realtors. It organically happens. And I think that's the big thing I can say for all these. Oh, I lost you there. All these mortgage guys that are, on TikTok and superficially trying it, just go at it for like 3 months every day.
Yeah.
The game's going to change for you. The game will change.
Yep, I could not agree more. Well, I think that is a phenomenal place to bookmark this. Hopefully, we can have another conversation in the future. But that is incredibly valuable information. We've thrown the handle out on TikTok a little bit, but how can other realtors, people that are potentially interested in reaching out to you, how do they get a hold of you? What's the best way to reach out?
I mean, the phone number is always good. We can go old school, right? I don't know
Yeah,
if you want me to say it.
please
Um,
do.
416-844-2912. And old school email. Old school email. It's steve@inacapitalfunding.com.
That is amazing. We will have all of that information in the show notes to all of our listeners. While you're seeing this on social media, make sure you hit us with a like, a comment, and subscribe. That helps us get this information out to more people in our industry. And we would absolutely love it if you head on over to iTunes, leave us a 5-star rating and review, because that helps us get more incredible guests like Steve on the show. Steve, again, thank you for being so generous with your time with us
Thank you.
today. And all the best, man.
Thank you. Thank you. Love it.
I'll see you
Take
on
care, Chris.
TikTok.
All right.